Alright guys, Daniel from Guiltless Foods here, and today's an exciting day because A, it's meal prep day, and B, I've got an entirely new menu for myself for the week which I'm going to share with you guys, starting with my vegetarian quinoa and bean Mexican chili. So this chili's got a few advantages to it. It's very cheap to make because it's the bulk of the meal is going to be tomatoes, beans and quinoa. It's also going to be filling because of the carbohydrates. It's going to have all 9 of your essential amino acids thanks to the quinoa, and it's going to have a few little ingredients that are going to make it exciting to eat and not so boring. So speaking of ingredients, we shall start with 1 cup, half a cup or 100 grams of dried quinoa. To cook the quinoa in, we have 2 cups or roughly 500 ml of vegetable stock that I've dissolved in boiling water. This is just a stock powder. I have 1 medium white onion diced. I have 1 red and 1 yellow bell pepper diced. I've got my little spice mix of dried jalapenos, some smoked chili powder, some smoked chili flakes, and some ground cumin, also some salt and pepper. The level of spice that you need to have in this varies for you, and you need 2 400 gram tins of chopped tomatoes, and you can't see it because they're in the sink draining. I have 5 tins of red kidney beans, so they come out to be 240 grams each tin, drained. And there's like I say, it's 5 of them. I drain them and rinse them, and then 2 little kind of secret ingredients. There's not very much of it, however, there's 15 grams of maple syrup, or 1 tablespoon of maple syrup, and 10 grams of dark chocolate, the darkest chocolate you can buy. It goes really well with the chili. Chocolate and chili now is not an unusual thing. And the only other thing you'll need is quite a large saucepan. I've got a stock pot here. This is just to avoid splashing when you're stirring. It's quite high-sided, the higher sided the better. And you'll need 1 tablespoon of olive oil for frying. So let's get started. Now the reason why you need such a large pan is because this recipe makes 8 portions. I'm rather excited about this because that means that I don't have to cook this meal for the next 4 weeks. So that's a big job off my list, and it will keep in the freezer. I know it's there. It's perfect. I'm just going to cook it all today in 1 pan, put it all into containers, then straight in the freezer. It's there ready for me when I need it. Right, so here we are over at the stove. I've got my olive oil in my pan heating up. It's been heating up for a few minutes now, so it should be almost ready to go. I do have it on the max heat. I'm going to turn it down a little bit when I throw in the ingredients. So, as always with something like a stew or a curry or anything along those lines, you start off with your onions. Those are going to go in, and any hard vegetables want to go in with the onions. So in go the peppers. Those are going to fry off a little bit just until they get a bit of colour on them and they've gone soft. So I'll show you what the next stage is once that's done. Alright, so it's been about 10 minutes of low gentle cooking with these onions and peppers. They've got a little bit of colour on, they're soft now, and it's time to go in with the 100 grams of quinoa and spices. And the idea behind this is you coat the quinoa in some of the oil, and what it does is it stops the quinoa from lumping together. And we're almost at the point now where we can add the liquid and literally just walk away from this and let it cook. It's smelling good already, it smells like chili already. And basically the quinoa is going to kind of fluff up and absorb all the moisture, and it's going to have the texture of your traditional ground beef in your chili. So quinoa's coated now, we're going to go in with the stock and the tomatoes. Okay, so the stock and the tomatoes are in. It's looking very, very colourful, very tempting. So this is going to cook now until it's nice and thick. It's probably going to take about 25 to 30 minutes until it's thickened up and the quinoa's cooked through. So I'll see you when that time has come. Oh, just so you know, I've got it on a medium-high heat, so I'm just going to put it there, and yeah, this is just going to cook until the quinoa is thickened up and it looks like beef chili. Now, the quinoa I would say is 90-95% cooked, so it's time to add the beans. And I mean, there is a lot of beans, so this is going to be a very high volume meal. Is that all the beans? Is it? No, I don't think so. How about that? No, still more. Alright, there we go. There's all the beans in there. That is a lot of beans. I mean, it is Mexican, so gotta have your beans, and they are healthy, high fibre, high protein. So give that a mix up, let it heat through again, and I mean, it does look really good. It does look like actual chili if you think about it. I've got a silicone spoon so it doesn't stick, but if you think about it, it does look like the kind of consistency of your regular beef chili. So if you want a little bit of a vegetarian option, you want to break from all the meat, then this would be a very good option. So if this chili wasn't good enough already, the last step is to add your tablespoon of maple syrup and your 10 grams of the darkest chocolate you can possibly find. This is just going to lift it. Oh, chocolate stuck. Do it with one hand, come on. There we go, chocolate's out. Right. This is just going to add a lovely undertone of sweetness and richness. I know it's not that much chocolate, but it is enough just to get it going, trust me. So we'll let that melt, give it 5-10 more minutes just to fully heat through so the quinoa can soak up all that flavour, and then we'll go over to the packing area, we'll pack it up, we'll go over the macros, and that'll be the video done, guys. Alright guys, the chili is cooked, and I'll give you a show because I want to try it, so I'll give you a taste test as well. So that's what it looks like. It does look like a regular beef chili, doesn't it? So let's give it a try. Yeah, definitely got spices, definitely got the texture there, definitely got the sweetness from the maple syrup and the chocolate, but there's a lovely overall savoury note to this, so don't think that this is a dessert. I wouldn't be disappointed if I was a massive meat fan and I got handed this. So I'm not going to do it on camera, however I'm going to put it in, this makes 8, so I'm going to put it in 8 meal prep containers. These little guys, I do suggest you buy these just because very convenient, very cheap. You can buy them at the Chinese takeaway, probably about 10 for £1. Right, so we'll go over the macros in one portion. Calorie wise, we're looking at 359 calories, that's it for one portion. Total 6 grams of fat, that's good considering there's chocolate and there's olive oil, things like that in there. Carbohydrate, 61 grams, bearing in mind this is it is actually, if you didn't have the chocolate, it is a vegan meal. However, it is predominantly beans and quinoa, so 61 grams of carbohydrates is to be expected. 19 grams from dietary fibre though, so you subtract 19 from 61 if you're doing a low carb diet, and you're looking at, if I could do the maths, you're looking at 45 net carbs, so that's quite good even if you're on a low carb diet. 7 grams from sugars, you're looking at natural sugars in the peppers, tomatoes. Those two combined have probably got more sugar than the maple syrup and the chocolate, but you've also got to include the maple syrup and the chocolate. And 19 grams of protein. So all in all, that's a really, really good meal. And like I said before, you're also looking at all the micronutrients from the beans and the vegetables. If you look at all the vitamins on there and the calcium and the iron, it's quite high for just one regular meal. I'm going to get packing these into these containers. You guys don't need to see that, but what you do need to see is the videos that I come up with in the future and upload specifically for you. So if that's what you want, that's what I want. So if that's what you want, then please click that like and subscribe button. It really helps me out, and I'll bring you guys more content just like this, if not better, as the time goes on and I get better at doing this whole filming and editing thing. So yep, click like and subscribe. Also follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Guiltless Foods. Thank you.